Chef Jean Joho.
Oui.
You have a few restaurants. The top one is, and it's the top one because we're on floor 40, Everest, Chicago.
We are on the 40th floor here.
You have a Paris Club in Chicago, Restaurateur in
Boston. And
the Eiffel Tower.
The Eiffel Tower in Las Vegas.
So I looked on the site, and all these restaurants are on many Gayot top 10 list. You gotta have a secret for that. But if it's a secret, don't tell us. Tell me about you. It started at 6 years old.
I was very little when I started. I always hang on the kitchen. My father was in the construction business, not in the restaurant business, and we entertained a lot in home when I grew up. And this been for a very little age. I remember to be in the kitchen, and age 6 is the first time when I use a uniform. This means I put my chef jacket on, I put my chef hat on, I have my apron on. That was 6 years old, and for this moment, this is what I want to do, and I never wanted to do nothing else. My summertime, when I was 11 years old, I spent my whole summer making cheese for months there in France. You can imagine.
You're French and you're from Alsace, which is very important for the rest of your career that you're from there. There's a lot of influences. We'll talk about that a little later.
Yeah, and I think what happens is when I made cheese, I did some winemaking, I did my butchering, and then I worked for 2 years in a row in my summertime. I was working in aubergine. I was peeling potato, cleaning beans. That's all what I did almost for 2 years.
So you know you know everything from the beginning, yeah?
I did. And then on 14, I started to work in restaurant. I make my apprenticeship pastry chef, baking. I have to thank somebody in cooking, service, wine, and then also what I did was I did also the hotel school and the business school. Where I think to be maybe the future. Maybe we have to make more of just the restaurant business. This means I learned all the part what can be involved in the restaurant business.
So, all this is in France and in Switzerland. So when did you come here?
What happens is I work many times first I make all my apprenticeship. I work in different restaurants in France, including many times, 3 times in a row I work in aubergine. First time I was an apprentice, the second one I come here and I was the chef de partie chef. And I worked also in Germany and in Switzerland. And Italy. This means I spent almost 10 years between Italy and Italy and Switzerland. This means I have a very good, big background in Italian food. And I moved here in 1984 to reopen Maxime's, where I was a Maxime's here from Chicago, and I was closed for 2 or 3 years. And the new owner wanted to make revise Maxime's to bring it back what it's supposed to be today. And we just changed, and that was a big impact when I came in 84. And give you an idea, in 84, I was the first person in 84 who have a tasting menu, have all American ingredients, where I use only American ingredients in 84.
Yeah, which was, for French chef, it was something very special because they would fly everything in and then...
I was old! Yeah. I was old! This fish who came from France was old. They have to have fish from France. They have everything in this country. And I did something what never happened in Chicago before.
What is it? Tell me.
The tasting menu, you come in, in 84 you have to pre-order, you have to take off 8, everybody has a tasting menu, I can't make tasting menu. I have all this new, I'm just presenting French food what it was, much more advanced, also conservative food was going on.
Yeah, we have to say, even though you're in Chicago, only desire to use American product, you're doing French cuisine.
I did. Except many times I have a little bit of Italian dish on my menu. When I call it very Italian, but it's what I put in my cuisine, what you see in my cuisine, I always have an Alsatian background, very deep inside.
I said at the beginning, very important.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
I think when you have a restaurant today, you have to have a style. You have to have your own style. You have to put your own touches in. I never lived in China. You never have the Everest French or Chinese. I don't know Chinese food. I love Chinese food, but I never studied Chinese food. But you always have the background where I grew up in Alsace. You find the latest ingredients what we use in Alsace, certain preparation we have in Alsace in a much newer way. What you see today, when you know the food very well from Alsace, you have these little touches, but also ingredients what we use in Alsace we're using here, and that's really my focus. But my biggest focus was always give the freshest ingredients what you can from this country and do.
So where were you finding at that time? Because now it's. I talk to chefs all the time, and I know it's very easy. or way easier to find fresh ingredients, and even you mentioned cheeses. I know there's some great cheeses in America. Where were you finding them in 1984? Which it's not that far ago, but that far ago in the US
tough.
it was tough.
But at the time, I was only 4 cheesemakers, for example. And the example at the time in 84, 85, I was working with Laura Chanel. She did a couple of special cheeses for me at the time. I have a Medtech Blue. He made me a couple of blue juice for me. I was only on the avant-garde to have a couple of products.
Thank you, because that's why because of you we have all this good cheese in America now.
It's possible.
Just for that you deserve a medal. Enough cheese.
Now it's common, and that's easy either today. I was a member of the Cheese Society, but now what I do, I use only Midwestern cheese. Right? The Midwest now you have so many cheesemakers. But I was always ahead. But also I think what my philosophy is when I use this word so much. And what I never done where I am, I never finish where I never can achieve what I want to be. But my big deal is what is good for me today is never good for me tomorrow.
So
that's my philosophy.
And then so you always have to improve
always.
or change or evolve, right?
When you look in this restaurant, it's 25 years old, it's 27 years old, but it's still fresh. It's not the youngest, the hippest restaurant, but it's a restaurant with well maintenance, it's fresh, it's always still alive. I think the day when you stop, when you fail on the restaurant, things old, and that's the reason you have to keep it going. I remember I started to make art on the tables around 10 years ago. I want just art on the table.
Those statues, and they're all different. It's the same artist.
They're also artists.
And they're all different.
His name is Ivo Soldini. They're all museum pieces. And you know what? Yeah, on the beginning, certain people understand that, wow, wonderful. So but I believe what is the right thing for me, I do, so long as I progress. And that's a good example of sculpture. That, you know what? Why we all have to have these little roses and this stuff on the table? I prefer sculpture. It's so unique. Why you have one sculpture on this? That's it. It's really unique. It's really personalized what I put on the table. But that's the whole process. I want to give you something different as everybody have.
Yeah, and then also as a chef that has restaurants, and with your philosophy, you want to do better and you want to always evolve and change, and you've innovated in America with different the produce and the menus. You also have your cookbook.
I have a cookbook. This cookbook is only by Las Vegas.
But still, it's your cookbook.
It's my cookbook.
Yeah.
But each restaurant, I have a different style what I'm doing.
Right. Yes. That's you mean that's only the Vegas restaurant.
Yeah. I don't believe also you can duplicate a restaurant, especially in fine dining. I think you can, but it's really difficult to reproduce. I like to have a different style. Here I have a verticalization. Here is really personalized. What I do here is a personalized French cuisine.
Yeah, we have to say we're at Everest.
We're at Everest here. It's a person. In Vegas is updated French cuisine. It's a little bit different variation. You have some classic, what made of the day to day. On here at the Everest, different. The Pad Club now it's young French. When you're talking about the Brasserie Joe, it's more like a classic brasserie. Each one have his own style. And I like to have different format in each different restaurant.
Well, to award your innovative spirit and philosophy and creativity and your ever-evolving thinking, and I want to do different and I want to do it better, Gayot.com has named you the best restaurateur for 2012. So congratulations, Chef.
Well, I'm really glad. Thank you so much. I think, you know what, I try to do what I do the best. I work with wonderful people. I have a wonderful staff. I have a great management team. I'm also a junior partner with San Antonio. We have many restaurants, but I think we try just to give the customer the best what we can do, and that's what we're here for. But thank you to recognize me to be. It's an honor. I think always number one is really flattered for me, but also really flattered for my entire staff. Also, we do something right in the restaurant. This one more time proves that.
Well,
thank
you
so much, Sophie.
For you and your whole team.
Thank you so much, Sophie. I think it's wonderful. I'm very glad to have that. I'm proud to have. Especially I talk with Gayot. I think it's for me it's a French heart here, and I think we have French culture on French food. I think when you do it the right way, when you evolve what's supposed to be, I think we'll be here for many, many, many years.
Thank you, Chef. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Sophie.
That's one.